I think one of the problems with Singapore today is that, right? We are not making room for nuances. We're not making room for ideas for their own sake. You know, it's like we listen to an idea, instead of thinking of the idea, we are really more focused on who's saying it and
Right.
what right we have to say it.
Right.
And there's an assumption that if you come up with a slightly different idea, you are operating in a competitive space, you know, or a space of rivalry, right? Or undermining someone's legitimacy. We jump into these kinds of horrible conclusions. And then in the worst cases, we lose the good idea because it's associated with someone we don't like. And we're so much the poorer for it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, Sinyi asked, is this also a cultural factor at play here because of Asian culture prioritizing hierarchy? And I thought you are the best person to answer this because
why? Because I'm Asian.
Because you're in Hong Kong. No, because we see that used to be a very popular argument. That was made even by Lee Kuan Yew, the Asian values, the 1990s argument. I mean, they still use some versions of it without using Asian values, but Taiwan.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I mean, to me, my view about things like Asian values and all that is that they are they are utterly constructed things, you know, and often very instrumentalized things, right? And as you say, in the 90s and all of that, this sort of comes as a post-Cold War sort of device, right? Because the attention turns to like Asia's success and all of these things, and to re-establish post-colonial control, you need to somehow you know, assert an agenda, which is, I guess, partly the instrumentalization of Western liberalism, right? To in a kind of to control the rest of the world via Western liberalism, and then Asia then constructs its own sort of bulwark, right? Which is a kind of Asian values idea, you know, whilst and investing into it all kinds of like sense of authenticity and all of that, where, you know, in a sense is very difficult to define for so many reasons, right? I mean, we're not all of us Confucian, for example, and even the Chinese who migrated here, right? I'm no historian, you know, but I imagine that they were in many ways running away from the rigidities of Confucianism in China. They were kind of operating in a frontiers kind of way. They didn't want that, right? So to what extent is any of that an authentic essence in who we are? So it's highly constructed, highly politicized as well. And today as well, you know, when suddenly we don't like certain things, right? Like we don't like, say, the newer forms of anti-racist discourse, right? Then when we don't like that, we say, oh, that's Western, right? That's like something that you got from US. You know, suddenly we turn on the Asian thing, and we turn on we co-opt the decolonial language, right? And suddenly we're so progressive, and let's have our own discourse, and let's not borrow from the West. And all this kind of
when I remember, and this happened, you know, a few years ago, as you know, the Chinese privilege argument. Discourse.
Exactly.
And then people were saying that, oh, you know, we shouldn't adopt. And it's just because it comes from America doesn't mean it's good, but doesn't mean it's bad as well, right?
Exactly.
We need to assess. And I was thinking, where do you think Parliament comes from?
Exactly.
Secularism. All these things.
You see, at this point, then they turn on but we are pragmatic. We choose the things that work. So it's just rhetorical. Right?